Does everybody believe in forgiveness? Raise your hand if you believe in forgiveness.
So good to talk about cheating.
I know.
So that's the question. Do you think cheating should be forgiven or not in a relationship or also in a marriage? Hey, you should see this tail. Tracy? Oh, Lily, Ivan is ready. Ivan, let's start with
Let's start
Ivan.
with you. Ivan always has an answer.
So, being cheated on is unforgivable. Me cheating should be forgivable. I'm kidding.
You're not.
No, yeah.
No, guys, I am. anyways, on a serious note, I think for marriage there are a lot of implications, and it gets really messy and dirty, and so for that one, I don't know. I can take the easy way out and say if they're kids, maybe either tough it out because the resulting children are going to have a lot of problems heavily related to that thing.
Yeah.
That's the easy way out. But since I'm not married, that's not my take, and I have no take on marriage. On relationships, I think cheating is non-negotiable. Like, there's no way you can cheat, and I think the word forgiveness is being used wrong, because you can forgive them for cheating, but you're like, I can't let that happen to me again, so this is not going to work. But I forgive you, but out of my life.
All right.
That's what I think.
Tracy?
I'm not going to use the word forgivable,
Yeah.
but then all I'll say is the minute you cheat or you're cheated on, just leave that person. Like, there's nothing else to talk about. Me, I'm not going to talk about how it happened, why it happened. Me, I don't care. Like, the minute it happens, it has happened. That's it.
That's both for relationships and in marriage.
I don't want to talk about marriage because I don't know. Like, I'm not married, so I don't know.
Wait, you can't use that. Before you continue, it's like saying, I can't talk about girls because I'm not a girl. Like, you can't use that. You get, we
that's
talk
true.
about many things, yet you're not those things. You don't need to be a specialist to talk about something. You can give your opinion. It's a subjective kind of thing.
So let me just say this. If you're married and you cheat, my answer is the same. Like, I don't think I'm going to sit there and listen to what you have to say, because obviously when you're cheating, you had reasons, and to me those reasons don't make sense. Me, I don't want to listen to whatever you have to say after. If it's done, it's done.
All right.
Yeah.
Madam Bato.
I hate that question so much. I used to have a very strong stance on cheating as well. For me, that's a deal breaker, especially when dating. Like, we're not having a conversation. In marriage, it's a bit more complicated because there's a lot of factors involved. But is it forgivable? Anything is forgivable. The Lord, man, it's just one of those things. If the Lord forgave us for all of those other things, who are we to withhold forgiveness from other people? Forgiveness is fine, but reconciliation is a different case altogether. I think I don't know. It would have. I don't even know. Like, it would be very, very, very difficult to consider staying with a person who's cheated. Because when the trust is broken, then how do you rebuild that trust again? Like, what's to say you won't do it again? And also the thought of you hating me so much that you would want to hurt me in that way, I can't compute it. Like, I think you have to hate someone to cheat on them, because I don't understand why you would want to inflict that level of pain and mistrust and doubt. Like, I don't know why you would want to bring that to your relationship. I feel like you have to be, I don't know. It would take heaven. It would take heaven to reconcile that relationship.
Ivan is burning.
I'm not saying it's impossible to reconcile a relationship where someone's cheated, but it would take a lot. It would take a lot of years of rebuilding.
I feel like before I go to Eric, Ivan is burning with something.
She spoke about hate. No, first let me agree. In terms of trust, building that trust is gonna be really hard, almost impossible, almost. But in terms of hate, I feel like we'd have to go back to the core issue, which is cheating, and the perspective that each gender or man or woman would take from that position of cheating. Now, we're not justifying it. I'm not personally, but logically speaking, for a guy to cheat, I would say that the reasoning it wouldn't be as emotionally led as a woman in terms of how they take it. Because, like you said, you like a guy who likes crying. Like, that's what helps you sleep at night. But
Damn.
An attack.
Damn.
and for you,
I deserve that. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
That's fair.
For you to get to a point where you'd think about cheating on your spouse or partner, it would be this other person has connected with you on such an emotional level that for you it's like it's him. There's no one else in this world. It's him. For a guy, it could literally just be, okay, no, again, I'm not justifying this, but it could just be
The opportunity presented itself.
no. That's not what I'm saying. It could be like the wife has been nagging him about washing dishes for like a month, and really he's just tired. And there's
I was gonna look just directly to the camera and then got confused about which camera to look into.
Probably
the
that
red
one.
Oh, that one. Yeah, but and obviously like there's another person, a woman, assistant or not assistant, so the secretary. You know the generic
Hold
thing.
your mic. Like this.
It's the generic secretary thing, who's there, and all they do is like they don't ask him for anything. They don't. They're, what do I say? They're just a whole other person who's not their nagging wife in this case of marriage. Like for them, it's a sense of freedom, I would say, for a guy, because it's like they're not feeling shackled, but they feel.
So, you see that thoughtlessness of
Thoughtlessness.
yes, like not considering the fact that this could really wound this person that I claim to love is what I call hate. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you can be that inconsiderate, like because it's not. I don't even like.
For me, that's what I'm saying. Like you say hate, and the reason I'm not using hate for the side of the guys, for the women may think it's hate. There's no way a woman is cheating on me and she's saying I didn't love him. That's a lie. He connected with you emotionally. That's the only way you would have agreed in any remote way to do it. For a guy, they would just say, okay, I'm not condoning this, but they would just say anything, and their reasoning would be exactly what they say. For a woman, they would be very elaborate about it and like say, I don't know, but it would be an emotional thing for a woman. But for a guy, it would literally just be what I've told you, like washing dishes, like a
But
nagging
listen,
thing.
I don't. Does that make it less?
It does not, but it does not come from a place of hate. That's what I'd say. Because usually when someone cheats, the first thing they want to do, like they're very remorseful about it. Most of them, some of them. It's always that feeling of, if they told you, then they're remorseful about it. I believe that.
Also,
you
me,
know.
that also bothers
you
me.
know
I'm like,
about
also,
it.
why are you telling me? Why are you telling me? Like, if someone tells me they cheated, they need to explain why they're telling me that they cheated.
Again, that's what I'm saying. I'm speaking from a guy's perspective. You women can speak for yourselves. But if that's it wasn't an attack. But I'm just saying, if that was ever to happen, in terms of like me personally, if I was to do that, I'd speak about it because I'd be remorseful about it. Because at the end of the day, you're here spending time with this sense of freedom that you call one night stand or a fling. But you know, like this other person you're with, you committed either your life or just a few good weeks or months. 1 month. He's committed to at that moment. You'd feel like this person, like they know me as a person and I connect with them more than this other one on the guy's side. That's how it is. So for a guy to come back and say like, this is what I did, they're remorseful because they know it was a mistake. Yes, they did it. Yes, you can forgive them. You cannot forgive them. Reconcile or not, doesn't matter. But on their side, it's something that has eaten them up to a point where they say it. If they don't tell you, then they're not remorseful. That's what I think.
Let me just say this. I don't think cheating is a mistake. What you just said, I don't think it's a mistake.
From
I
the
think
guy's
it's a-
side.
And some people tell
no,
you
man.
to like because the guilt is killing them, not necessarily because. So
Yeah.
some people, for them, they're remorseful and because they know they won't do it again, so they just don't say.
because you won't find out. But
Yeah, they're
women
like,
always do find out. Anyway.
that's true.
Eric has contemplated. He has cooked and cooked.
Used against him.
The
And
problem
cooked.
is, I've been running what's it
And
called
cooked.
situations in my head to see will I really. I think for me it reaches a point. There are so many things to consider. How did you find out they cheated? Which kind of cheating was it? Because I think for me, there are two. There's the physical, and then there's the emotional cheating. Emotional. Okay, let me see. Let me break it down there. So in a relationship, if it's cheating, all is forgivable. In my perspective, all is forgivable. It's the steps that I take after that are that differ. In a relationship, if it's physical, I'm sorry, that's just ending there, because that's basic trust completely cut off. But if it's emotional, that for me is worth a conversation, because emotional cheating is kind of the idea that you're not missing anything physically. There's something that I am not feeling emotionally for you, and that can be a conversation that to be had. On what I can step up on, or what they can step up on, or the kind of avenues that can be had, or conversations that can be had, or channels of conversations that can be had, so that that kind of can be addressed. When it comes to marriage, I feel like it's a whole different ball game, because that's a commitment you've made before God. That's the place where two have become one. So it becomes any aggression they've done to them, the aggression they've done to you. Because in a relationship, that's them. That's on them. You have not tied yourself to them the way you have done in marriage. So when it comes to marriage, when it comes to physical, that's like serious therapy. I feel like it's forgivable. Like, remember, all of it is forgivable, but like serious therapy and serious going before God to find out what's like the next step. Because for me, that's not when you cheat in a marriage physically, you're cheating with me, because I'm with you when you're doing that. You're cheating with me, and that's just weird to begin with. And second, that's just a gross misconduct of me and my soul, basically. But when it comes to emotion again, also emotional in marriage, also a kind of conversation. Because at that point, there must be something lacking between us that has not been addressed within the marriage, that a foundational something that's not there. So we go back to the roots and find out what are something that we missed. That's what I've cooked.
And I think
That's so interesting, because I think for girls, maybe Tracy, you have a different opinion. I think emotional cheating is a big one.
yes, because
I agree.
that's what I was actually gonna ask next in terms of what do you like consider cheating? Is it just the physical or the emotional part? And if it's emotional, do you think that can also be forgiven and you move on from it? Whether in relationships, like in terms of before you get married and after you're married.
Man, emotional is a big one, because it takes time to build an emotional connection with someone. And also, if I'm in a relationship with you, first of all, where are you getting the time to build an emotional connection with someone else? If you're
Co-workers.
Your girl best friend.
what is it called? What are they called at the office? Work wives.
Work husbands and work wives.
I hate that so much, because I see. Never mind.
Oh, you see
People are
it
gonna
in your
watch
workplace.
watch this video.
And you know where you work, I would
Oops,
say.
you know where you are.
Sorry. So yeah, I've just lost my train of thought, because now I'm just so
Emotional
self-conscious.
cheating.
You would
Yeah,
be
I think
fine.
emotional cheating is a really big one. It takes time to build, and you can't just snap out of it. Even if they feel bad, there's still feelings that are lingering there. Physical attraction, I don't know, maybe society has conditioned us to think just men are, I don't know, anything in a skirt is possible.
Not anything. Come on, people have standards.
Don't
I
lie.
didn't say Ivan,
No,
but people
don't
have.
lie.
I'm sorry for violating. I'm sorry.
No, Eric wears skirts sometimes.
You do.
I'm joking.
What did you say?
Eric wears skirts.
He owns them, he doesn't wear them.
Oh my God, Q. So,
I say that under confidence. I said those things after confidence, guys.
Society has
Sorry.
conditioned women
Yeah.
to think that men don't really. There's not a lot of emotion that goes into their physical connection with a person for men. But for women, it is like there's before you get to the physical aspect, there's the emotional aspect first that has to be the whatever. But for a guy to get emotionally attached to someone else, I feel like that would wound me in a way that, well, I feel like it would wound me just as much as the physical one.
So you wouldn't forgive them, or rather, you wouldn't continue being in that relationship.
If it's we're not married.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm not staying.
Okay. If you're married,
I release you. Go have
If you're
fun with the
married.
other person. Huh?
if you're married,
If we're married, like there's so much that's complicated when it comes to marriage. Like the
I like
exit,
how Batu fumbles.
the exit clause is so like it's just dude, like I don't know. Because I remember I always said like if it's cheating, I'm out. And I remember having a conversation with Pastor James about this, and he said because he was saying when you say for better for worse, what's
For
the
us.
caveat?
Yeah.
For
Like
us,
what's
it's
the
cheating.
caveat? Like so I'm like because there's no caveat, I committed to staying with this person. I would want to honor that. But it would be so difficult. I think there would be would definitely need a period of separation. Like there's those things that I'm just like it's not as instantaneous. Yeah.
All right. Ivan, you have something
I
before?
was just going to ask, would the separation help or make it worse for your husband to be left alone when he still has those emotions?
He's not a child.
I'm sorry.
I think I'm with Bato on. I don't know if I'm with Bato. Okay, this is my take. With the relationships part, I'd say if he cheats physically, emotionally, like you're not tied. Just leave. Just go. When you're married, so let me talk to the dudes, especially. I'm like the Bible gives a very interesting instruction to the husbands, where it says, "Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loves the church." I'm like, that's a very heavy statement in the sense that the church keeps on cheating on Christ. Think about it. We're always doing weird stuff. And
The
Christ,
church is just out here doing the most.
yes, and Christ keeps on accepting the church over and over again. I'm not saying that if your wife is cheating, keep accepting her over and over again.
Unless you're Hosea.
You get, yeah. Hey, Hosea is the one who's told to marry a prostitute.
That wasn't
You can't hear
Mike,
you.
my dude.
That wasn't cheating.
Wow, that's still cheating if you're married to someone. Anyway, so to
She
the
was a hoe
dudes,
before.
I'm like, we are called to such a difficult task of if this was to happen, you need to understand why. And I say a big percentage of cheating, whether chicks or dudes, is because of there's something that went wrong somewhere in the relationship. Can be the physical part, can be the emotional part. Usually it's the emotional part that leads to the physical. So this person has messed up in doing whatever they're doing, but also you, the person who's not cheated, you messed up in certain parts. So agreeing to admit that you are lacking in certain things and trying to figure out how do we move on from there becomes the fundamental, even without having kids. Because I think people usually say, oh, for the kids, let's stay for the kids. I don't believe, even if you don't have kids, because now I'm just like, if a couple decides they're not having kids and then somebody cheats, so they can just go, I'm like, nope. We go back to based on me, this is my subjective thinking. I believe that it's difficult. The trust will take a long time to be rebuilt, but it's possible. It's a hard road. Don't go down that road, but if it was to happen, that's a road that we are called to. Especially, I'm talking to men, but it's with both sides. Unless I'm like there's physical violence or things like that, you get like those two crazy things. But if you feel like you can't handle that, I'm like the Bible allows you. You can decide to go. But God hates divorce. But God knows because of our heart, and we are always sinful, we have a heart of stone, God allows that to happen, not because he wants it to happen, but because of for our sake. So that's what I believe. Ivan was looking like he had a hot take before.
No. I was just speaking about the having kids and marriage thing. You just said it was your subjective opinions. I decided not to fight.
Fight. I'm
Don't
always-
attack the family man.
Do it.
Don't attack the family
Do
man.
it. Do it.
What? No, it's just the excuse for having kids. I feel like it has bigger implications than, like, if you stay together because of the kids, I feel like that has bigger implications, because now the idea is we don't need to reconcile. So the trust that's broken, it's broken.
Yeah.
Can live as a
So-
couple of best friends.
Yeah.
I usually believe this is the thing. Kids are part of the family, but not part of the marriage.
I agree.
Yeah. So why should we, if
Could you please explain that a bit?
you didn't marry your kids,
That's
you're married to your wife.
But marriage produces children.
Yes, but they're not part of the marriage. They're part of the family. The kids join the family. They don't join the marriage. The marriage is between two people, the husband and the wife, not the husband, wife, and kids. So if they're joining the family. So the marriage is a family,
Some
right?
people propose nowadays to.
a bit
yeah.
weird.
Too?
Yeah, you've seen
Some
that.
to
Yeah,
kids.
some people propose to kids
So
too.
that's-
I
As they
don't make a
propose to like the
commitment.
partner, they propose to the children as well.
Okay, that's like a pagan tradition. Me, I'm talking about in the sense of it's true.
Like all these
God
heathens.
damn.
It's true. I'm like, me,
Yeah.
I'm talking about from a Christian perspective. Marriage is you have a man and a wife. They come together. That's why even consummating. Do you consummate with that kid? No, that's even illegal.
I would hope they don't. I would really hope.
You get, because it's
Terrible.
once you consummate, that's when you become one. You get. So they can't be part of the marriage. Even if you propose, even if you do what, they're still not part of the marriage. So the marriage and the family are two distinct things. So the marriage is part of the family, right? So now the kids, when they come in, they're not joining the marriage, they're joining the family. So if you're saying you're staying for the kids, those are two different institutions.
So you can leave the kids.
What?
Leave them kids. Be a deadbeat.
Ah,
Create
Yeah.
stronger men.